Welcome to our deep dive today.
Okay.
It's on Kevin Mitnick.
Right.
He's often called the world's most famous hacker.
Wow.
And we're going to be looking at the YouTube video from Newsthink.
Okay.
How the greatest hacker manipulated everyone.
Sounds good.
And his story's really full of incredible hacks and escapes, but a really kind of surprising turn later in life.
Yeah, Mitnick's story really shows how technology has changed and how security's changed with it.
Yeah.
You know, he started out as this almost mythical figure.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who could bend technology to his will.
So let's start with his childhood.
Oh.
The video describes a somewhat lonely upbringing. His father left when he was young, and his mother worked long hours.
It's interesting to think how that may have influenced his path.
Yeah.
You know, finding a sense of connection and control in the world of computers.
Right.
You know, he really excelled and made things happen.
Right.
Even at 12 years old, he figured out how to ride the bus for free.
Wow. Talk about outside-the-box thinking.
Yeah.
That early ingenuity really shows the hacker mindset developing.
Right.
And there's the McDonald's drive-through prank.
Oh, yeah.
Where he used modified radios to mess with customers and even the police.
Classic teenage mischief with a tech twist.
Yeah.
It shows how he was fascinated by technology from a young age.
Yeah?
Not just as a tool, but as a way to disrupt expectations and have a little fun at other people's expense.
Right. But this fun, kind of turns into something a little more serious.
Yeah.
At 17, he targets Pacific Bell. Which was a major telephone company at the time.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that he didn't use any complex hacking tools. Right. He just walked into the Pacific Bell building, pretended to be an employee, and walked out with all the manuals he needed.
I know.
It's a perfect example of social engineering, bypassing security by exploiting the human element.
Right.
He used charm and confidence and people's willingness to trust someone who appears to belong.
So that tactic...
Yeah.
We see that as we go on his story.
Yeah.
That this becomes one of his trademarks.
It does.
So even after spending 3 months in juvenile detention for this, he didn't stop.
He didn't.
Seems like he was really hooked on the challenge.
That drive led him to Digital Equipment Corporation, or DEC.
Okay.
Mitnick was after their operating system's source code.
So for those of us who aren't programmers, what exactly is source code and why would a hacker want it?
So think of source code as the blueprint for how a program works. If you have the source code, you can see every detail of how the software functions, including any weaknesses or security flaws.
Gotcha.
It's incredibly valuable, especially for someone like Mitnick who's looking to exploit those weaknesses.
So he wanted the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly. For someone like him, it was the ultimate prize.
Right.
He teams up with his friend Lenny DeSico to pull off this hack, and they actually got the source code. But this is where the story takes a turn because of a betrayal.
Oh, the drama. I love it.
Yeah.
What happened?
So after a disagreement over a $150 bet, Lenny, seeking revenge, informed on Mitnick to the FBI.
Oh, no.
The irony is that Mitnick was originally retaliating for Lenny's refusal to pay the bet.
Oh, wow.
By using social engineering on Lenny.
So essentially he got a taste of his own medicine.
You could say that,
but
the consequences for Mitnick were much worse.
Right.
The prosecutor at the time painted him as this technological supervillain, claiming that he could launch a nuclear missile by whistling into a phone.
What?
Obviously a far-fetched claim.
Wow, that's fear-mongering at its best.
It shows how much fear and misunderstanding surrounded technology.
Yeah.
Especially back then, people didn't understand hacking.
Right.
So it was easy to create this image of hackers as all-powerful and dangerous.
Wow.
The judge, swayed by this narrative, sentenced Mitnick to 8 months in solitary confinement.
Wow.
Which is a brutal punishment.
Yeah.
That had a profound impact on him.
Yeah. And if that wasn't enough, he faced another betrayal.
Yeah.
This time from people much closer to him.
Right before his release, Mitnick was suspicious of his girlfriend, Bonnie, and hacked into her answering machine. And he uncovered a devastating truth.
What?
Bonnie was having an affair with his best friend, Louis.
Wow, what a double blow.
Yeah.
That's, this brilliant hacker.
Yeah.
But he's still vulnerable to, heartbreak and betrayal.
Exactly. It reminds us that even in the world of hacking, human emotions play a role.
Yeah.
But despite the betrayal, Mitnick remained friends with Louis.
That's good.
So after serving his time, Mitnick knew he had to be more careful.
Right.
Especially with authorities watching him.
Right.
He decided to make his phone untraceable.
Okay.
He focused on changing the electronic serial number of his Novotel phone. To do this, he tapped into his social engineering skills again.
Okay.
He called Novotel pretending to be an engineer.
Oh, wow.
Even fabricating background noise to make it seem like he was calling from a consumer electronics show in Vegas.
Oh.
And he convinced a Novotel engineer to send him the chips he needed to change the phone's ESN.
It sounds like a movie.
I know, right?
But around this time, he met a supposed elite hacker named Eric.
Oh.
Through his half-brother's ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
Something about Eric just didn't feel right to Mitnick.
Mitnick's instincts were sharp.
Yeah.
He noticed that Eric didn't talk or act like other hackers,
Right.
and his questions seemed off.
Okay.
This sparked Mitnick's suspicion,
Right.
leading him to investigate Eric's true identity.
So he became like a detective in the hacker world.
You could say that.
Yeah.
He used social engineering technical hacks,
Okay.
clever deductions,
Yeah.
to piece together Eric's real identity.
Wow.
He was meticulous,
Yeah.
researching systems and learning how to exploit them to get information.
What did he find out?
The truth was shocking.
Well-
Eric was actually an FBI informant
No way.
named Justin Tanner Peterson,
Oh, wow.
working with an agent named Joseph Ways,
Okay.
who was undercover as Joseph Wernmel.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mitnick had been unknowingly interacting with the very people trying to catch him.
Wow, what a plot twist.
I know.
So what did Mitnick do?
He realized he was being watched
Right.
and decided to turn the tables on the FBI.
Okay.
Mitnick used his access to Pactel's system to track the agent's calls and location.
Wow.
He set up a scanner to detect their cell phone signals.
So the hunter became the hunted.
For a while, yes.
That's amazing.
There was even a close call at his apartment when the
Oh.
FBI raided it while he was there.
No.
All they found was a box of donuts he had ordered.
No way.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
I know.
But these cat and mouse games couldn't go on forever.
Right.
He even expressed remorse for involving his grandmother in a DMV chase,
Oh my God.
showing that he wasn't completely heartless.
It's a reminder that even with all his, skills and daring,
Yeah.
he was still human.
He knew he had to disappear again.
Right.
This time he assumed the identity of Eric Weiss,
Okay.
the real name of his idol,
Oh, wow.
the magician Harry Houdini.
That's a very fitting choice.
Exactly.
Mitnick, the master of deception and
Yeah,
escape.
right. He even hacked into a credit reporting agency
Oh, wow.
to find a real Eric Weiss with good credit,
Oh, wow.
using that identity to build a new life in Denver.
Wow. So even on the run,
Yeah,
he couldn't resist the allure of hacking.
that's right. He targeted Motorola next,
Okay.
aiming to get the source code for their MicroTac ultralight phone.
Okay.
He spun a believable story posing as Rick from Motorola's research and development team,
Oh, wow.
convincing an assistant to hand over their most valuable secrets.
I can't believe he pulled it off again.
It's like watching a masterclass in deception,
It is.
but even the best make mistakes.
Yeah. And for Mitnick, that mistake would have serious consequences.
Remember Shimmy, the computer security expert,
Oh, yeah.
whose computer Mitnick had hacked earlier?
Yeah.
He was determined to get revenge.
Okay.
And when Mitnick slipped up, Shimmy and the FBI were ready.
Okay. This is where I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
What happened?
Mitnick had been storing stolen files, including some of Shimmy's on a community forum called The Well.
Oh.
They had an automated system
Right.
that notified users if they used a lot of disk space.
Okay.
This seemingly insignificant detail would be his undoing.
I can see where this is going.
His large file storage triggered the alert,
Okay.
which led to the discovery of the stolen files.
Oh, no.
Shimmy, working with the FBI,
Okay.
used his expertise to track Mitnick's internet activity and pinpoint his location.
It sounds like the walls were closing in.
Mitnick sensed something was wrong.
Oh.
His back doors were disappearing. Someone was on to him.
Right.
He peeked out of his apartment.
Yeah.
A U.S. Marshal spotted him. And moments later, the FBI knocked on his door.
Oh, my God.
After almost 3 years on the run,
I know.
Mitnick was finally caught.
Wow. What a downfall.
I know.
I can't believe how long he evaded capture.
It is quite a story.
It is.
But this was just the beginning of another chapter in Mitnick's life.
Oh, so what happened next?
We'll delve into that.
Okay.
And the surprising turn his life took in part 2 of our deep dive.
All right. I'm ready. So after all those close calls and narrow escapes,
Yeah.
Mitnick finally gets caught.
Mitnick's arrest was huge news in the tech world.
Yeah.
He was immediately placed in solitary confinement,
Right.
which was something he dreaded from his previous experience.
Right, and the prosecution was really pushing for serious charges,
Right.
painting him as this dangerous cybercriminal.
Yeah, but there was a growing Free Kevin movement,
Right.
arguing that he wasn't a threat and didn't deserve such harsh treatment.
So it seemed like public opinion was really divided.
Yeah, it really tapped into this growing tension between freedom and security.
Right.
Especially as technology was becoming more central to our lives.
Right.
Mitnick's case really forced people to think about the ethics of hacking,
Yeah.
the limits of government surveillance, and what actually was cybercrime.
And the video mentions how the prosecution initially tried to stop Mitnick from even examining the evidence against him, claiming he could somehow unleash a destructive virus.
That seems pretty paranoid looking tech.
It's
But it shows how hackers were perceived back then,
Yeah.
seen as having magical powers,
Right.
capable of wreaking havoc with just a few keystrokes.
And the video also points out how ridiculous the initial damage claims were.
Right.
The prosecutors wanted something like $300 million.
Yeah, based on the value of the source code he accessed.
I know, it's crazy.
Right, a classic case of overblown fear-mongering,
Yeah.
Mitnick argued. And I think most people agree
Yeah.
that the damages should reflect the actual value of the source code licenses, which he estimated at less than $10,000.
Right. In the end, he was ordered to pay a little over $4,000.
Right.
A far cry from those astronomical figures.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that he never used or sold any of the information.
Right. He was just curious.
His motivation was curiosity.
Yeah.
While his actions were illegal, there's no denying that his intent wasn't malicious.
Right.
He saw hacking as a challenge, a puzzle to solve.
Right.
He wasn't in it for the money.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to cause harm.
He even compares himself to a kid
Yeah.
breaking into an abandoned building.
Yeah.
It was about the thrill of exploration.
Right.
And the satisfaction of getting into places he wasn't supposed to be.
And that perspective resonated with some people,
Yeah.
even if they didn't condone his actions.
Right.
It tapped into this idea of the hacker as a modern-day explorer,
Right.
pushing boundaries, challenging the status quo.
So after 5 years in prison, Mitnick comes out a changed man.
The video includes a quote where
Yeah.
he reflects on everything, saying,
Yeah.
"My case is a case of curiosity."
It's a simple statement,
Yeah.
but it really gets to the heart of what drove him.
Yeah. This insatiable curiosity.
Right.
The need to understand how things worked.
Yeah.
That's what got him in trouble.
Yeah.
But it's also what led to his redemption.
Because that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
He doesn't go back to his old ways.
No.
Instead, he uses his notoriety
Yeah.
to build a legitimate career.
Right.
He becomes this sought-after security consultant,
Yeah.
teaching companies how to protect themselves.
Yeah. From the very techniques he used to use against them.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. It shows how much the landscape has shifted.
Right.
Hacking was becoming a major threat.
Right.
And Mitnick, with his unique understanding of both sides,
Yeah.
was in high demand.
So he goes from this symbol of cybercrime
Yeah.
to this advocate for ethical hacking.
It's a fascinating transition.
It is.
It highlights how the line between hacker and security expert
Right.
can be blurry.
Yeah.
The skills are often the same.
Yeah.
It's the intent that makes the difference.
The video also touches on his personal life,
Yeah.
mentioning that he found love after prison,
Yeah.
marrying Kimberly.
Yeah. Who he met at a cybersecurity conference in Singapore.
Wow.
It's a heartwarming part of the story.
Yeah.
Showing that even after this turbulent life,
Right.
he was able to find happiness and companionship.
Sadly, their happiness was cut short when he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Yeah. In 2022,
Right.
he fought it for 14 months
Wow.
before passing away at the age of 59.
It's a reminder of how fragile life is.
Yeah.
You know, Mitnick's story with all its ups and downs,
Yeah.
its moments of brilliance and its mistakes,
Right.
ultimately ends with a sense of loss.
It's especially poignant.
Yeah.
Knowing that his wife was pregnant at the time,
I know.
their son would grow up.
Yeah.
Knowing about his father's complex legacy.
And it's a legacy that continues to shape the field of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Mitnick's insights on social engineering,
Yeah.
the human element in security, the need for ethical hacking.
Right.
These things are more relevant now than ever.
Absolutely.
His story is a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
but also a story of redemption
Right.
and the power of using your skills for good.
Yeah.
And his final reflection,
Yeah.
where he describes his journey as just like magic,
Yeah.
seems fitting.
He was a master illusionist in a way.
Right.
A technological Houdini.
Yeah.
Who pushed boundaries and challenged conventions.
Right.
Leaving this indelible mark on the world of cybersecurity.
Mitnick's story is definitely captivating.
It is.
But it also makes you think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We're all so connected these days, leaving this massive digital trail everywhere we go.
Right.
The video mentions that Americans lost $10 billion to fraud in 2023 alone.
Wow.
Imposter scams being the most common.
It's a sobering reminder that technology connects us, but also makes us vulnerable.
Right. We're all potential targets.
Yeah.
And it's important to be aware of the risks.
Yeah. And what's even more unsettling is this whole issue of data brokers.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
These companies are collecting and selling our personal information to anyone who will pay.
Yeah.
Including scammers and hackers.
That's a massive industry that operates under the radar.
It is.
Most people have no idea how much of their information is being bought and sold.
Right. It's like this hidden market for our data.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is.
All those details about our lives, from our addresses to our online habits, are being traded like commodities.
Right.
It feels like a violation.
It highlights the ethical challenges we face in this digital age.
Yeah.
You know, who owns our data?
Right.
How should it be used?
Exactly.
How can we protect ourselves in a system where our information is constantly being collected and analyzed?
And Mitnick's mastery of social engineering shows how hackers can exploit our trust and manipulate us into giving up sensitive information. So what can we do to protect ourselves?
We need to be aware of the risks, educate ourselves about threats, and use the tools available
to safeguard our digital lives.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Mitnick's story has been a wild ride.
It has.
Full of twists and turns, brilliance and blunders.
It captures the evolution of hacking, the complexity of cybersecurity, and the human stories at the heart of it all.
It's a story that forces us to confront ethical dilemmas.
It does.
The power and peril of technology. And the importance of staying vigilant in an ever-changing world.
Right, because threats are always evolving.
His legacy is mixed.
It is.
But it leaves us with a lot to think about.
Yeah. Could someone like Kevin Mitnick even exist today?
I don't know.
Given the advancements in security?
On the one hand, security measures are much more sophisticated now.
Yeah, but on the other hand, technology is more pervasive than ever, creating new opportunities for those who want to exploit it.
It's like a constant arms race.
Yeah.
Between those trying to protect information and those trying to access it.
Exactly. And Mitnick's story reminds us that technology isn't enough.
Right.
We need to understand the psychology behind hacking, the art of social engineering, and being aware of the human element.
Exactly. We need to be smart, proactive, and aware.
We do.
Because as Mitnick's story shows, the world of cybersecurity is full of surprises.
It is.
So if you're intrigued by this world of hacking, the ethical dilemmas, and this ever-changing landscape, keep exploring.
There are tons of resources out there.
There are.
Books, articles, podcasts.
All sorts of stuff.
Delving deeper into these topics.
So stay curious and stay safe out there.
Absolutely.